Okay, you got everybody. I think I did it right this time. So if somebody wants to go check YouTube, I'm pretty sure this time I recorded it with volume.
Woo! You
So
streaming on YouTube right now?
I'm multitasking right now. I'm using StreamYard from
Nice.
the advertising people, plus trying to run this thing at the same time.
Nice.
So hopefully there's volume. Last time I did this, there was no volume. I felt like
The good thing about that kind of responsibility is that if everything goes great, it's thanks to you. But if everything is going down, it's
that's right. Yours. It's all thanks to him too. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
No pressure.
No pressure, man. No pressure at all.
Yeah. Okay.
Love
now that I have this, I will do this. Everybody see that?
We got you.
Okay, well, I think we got everybody. I'm recording now. There should be volume. I got two computers going at once. Again, thanks everybody for joining today. I like to drink coffee, so if I drink some coffee during this, I apologize. But I want to welcome everybody to 4 Geeks Academy, cohort 22, and Miami-Dade College Geek Talk or Pitch Day. A quick overview. This is just some of the basic facts of 4 Geeks Academy. Right now, people that graduate from this academy are looking at probably a 22% wage increase after completing the course. Currently, right now, we have over 1,000 graduates. 86% of the students that graduate from 4 Geeks Academy place after graduating. So that's kind of a good point for us that we like to, express to students when they come in. And then we also have a program that a lot of students, and I didn't even know about until I joined 4 Geeks Academy. We have the ISA financial program where you can actually join 4 Geeks Academy, and then after completing the program, not have to make any payments until after we place you in a job. So that 86% actually works out for us a lot, so that it can help you guys get a job, and it can help pay back your loan from when you attended 4 Geeks Academy. Going over some of our partners, these are some of our hiring partners that we have. I know it's a lot of stuff going on this screen, and we are actually looking at adding more. Right now, we have over 400 different hiring partners across all 7 of our academies. This one being Miami, we do have a lot out there, and we're looking to expand. Going on to, this is tonight's roster. So we have the law firm, which is Aurora, Heidi's, and Jose, and that is our Miami-Dade College cohort, led by Joao Xavier. And then we have our cohort 22 students that will be presenting today. The Melee Encyclopedia, who's going to be Brett, the Market Pulse, which is Diego and Chris, and Handshake, who is Pamela and Israel. So that being said, I want to real quick, before I move on to the next slide and introduce our guest. Use the guest speakers.
Sure. Before the guest people start speaking. Well, actually, Sean is not a guest speaker. Sean graduated from 4 Geeks like 3 years ago. You can correct me, Sean. That's a nice picture, really professional, by the way. So I just wanted to say thanks to everyone. I'm humble. This week has been really emotional for us because we have been graduating a lot of people across different locations, and it never gets old, the feeling and tradition. And I wanted to make sure before everyone started pitching, for those who are graduating tonight, I want you to realize that right now we need you the most, actually, because so far what you have been learning is about how to incorporate into your resume or into your professional career. Um, but the final goal is actually getting a job, right? Or changing careers or improving your salary or getting a new gig that will put you in a better position. And we want you to succeed and we need you to, we really need you there in order to achieve that. So you need to be a pain in the to Steven and push him and get the best out of him and me and Alejandro and Paolo and the instructors, because right now there are three things that you have to focus. First, building a bigger, better portfolio. B, start applying to opportunity. Well, actually researching and applying to jobs. C, making sure that your assets are in the best shape possible. I mean, your resume, your GitHub account. Maybe we should build a kind of a landing page talking about you and your career and your background, and start networking as well. There's a lot of things happening in Miami at the moment, and plenty of opportunities out there. Everyone has the same kind of question about, am I good enough? Do I learn enough? Can I actually achieve that? Can I actually get a job? I don't feel like it. I'm still insecure about this and this, or unsure about how to solve this. Everyone is in that position. All of the people that actually got a job, they all felt the same. And the only way to fight that feeling is by practicing, building, and being super committed and passionate about your career. So your relationship with 4Geeks is never ending, and it's not by any means ending tonight. And I is just one step closer to the goal. But since right now you are living the fixed schedule, like the regular classes, what I mean by now we need you more than ever is that we need your interaction with us, because we can call you, we can send you emails, we can text you through Slack, but if you don't get back to us, if you don't follow up with us, it's gonna be super hard. So congratulations, have a drink, enjoy tonight, and have a blast. It's a night to be excited and to have fun. Congratulations again.
Oh, I appreciate that, Marcelo. Thank you. Yes, definitely. We work as hard as everyone else works. So we definitely, me, Marcelo, and Alejandro are definitely here for every single one of you. I know I've reached out to a couple of you so far. We're definitely here and excited about everybody's projects. I've already seen most of them, and I'm excited for everybody else on today's Geek Talk to be part of it also and see kind of what you get from completing a cohort like this or a coding bootcamp like this. With that being said, introduction of our two guest speakers tonight. One of them, John Marty. I actually met him through LinkedIn, reached out to him. As of right now, he's a top voice on LinkedIn. He is the founder of Project 1B, and what that is a man on a mission. He is out to help over 1 billion people worldwide maximize their potential in fulfilling their life. And then as of recently, just became the senior project manager at SoFi. And then our other guest speaker is Sean Warfman, an alumni, just like Marcelo said, somebody that came to our academy over, I think, 3 years ago and has flourished since then and is now a software developer at Smilefly. So the floor is yours for introductions, gentlemen. If you want to just give a quick introduction, cover anything that I may not have covered. And then once you guys are done with your introductions, I will go ahead and get into the questions that I have for you guys. So John, if you want to go first.
I was going to say, Sean, you go first, but I'll take it. I'll take it, man. I'll take it. All right. Well, thanks everyone so much. Marcelo's words really ring true here. You really do have to believe in yourself when it comes to this stuff. There's, a lot of times when you get into this imposter syndrome mode, am I good enough? You see somebody with a big fancy title and you think, oh, there's no way I could do that, or there's no way I could get there. And it's really not true. It really is just the only thing that's separating you from someone else who's in a different position that you want is a belief that you can do it, really. And 7 years ago, I was in a much different place in my life, and we can talk all about this, as we get into the Q&A. But I was working at Best Buy. I was working there for $12 an hour. I was a blue shirt employee, selling TVs. Okay, I had an entrepreneurial venture that failed, and I lost all my money. I had a baby on the way, and I was in a really, really desperate situation. I turned to a coding boot camp. I turned to, a couple education programs. I did an MBA and coding boot camp back to back. The coding boot camp was what gave me a foot in the door to land a job at American Express as a product manager, not an engineer. I took a different pivot on that. And it was probably, going to coding school was probably the single biggest why I am where I am at today, because that American Express opportunity opened the door for me to be a senior PM at Amazon for the past 4 years. And I recently just joined SoFi, a really, really hot emerging tech company surrounding, a lot of Bitcoin related things, investment strategies, kind of similar to Robinhood in a lot of ways. So yeah, I'm just really thankful to be here and can't wait to get into the Q&A.
All right, so I guess I'll pick up from there. So, right, my name is Sean. Graduated from 4Geeks, I think, in April of 2019. And I guess just to piggyback a little bit off of what John was saying, but I completely agree. I mean, it did completely shift my career. At the time, I was kind of more in sales positions with advertising and that sort of thing. And, it really just wasn't my cup of tea, I guess. And coding really kind of opened the door to this sort of like limitless career opportunities, as cliche as that may sound. And then, so I kind of moved from advertising into 4Geeks. And then from 4Geeks, I was really looking for whatever coding job I could get. I kind of ended up having to go through a recruiter to get an email developer role. And then that was really the foot in the door from there. So I was able to move from email developer into like some kind of security officer position coding. But that was really more of a front end role despite the title. And then most recently, I'm the lead for a startup at the WeWork in Brickell City Center. My LinkedIn's a little out of date. And then we're like a medical subscription service now, but it's super cool work. I mean, I'm kind of rebuilding their whole tech stack for them. So I'm able to kind of use a bunch of React now and Express API and a MySQL database. And I get to teach a couple guys under me. So it's really been pretty phenomenal. And it's pretty much entirely due to the 4Geeks Bootcamp to have that opportunity now.
That's awesome, man.
Well, thank you, gentlemen. First question, how did you get involved in the tech industry? Whoever wants to go first.
Sean, you want to take it first, man?
Yeah, sure. So at first, so I was kind of working, like mentioned, I was working in advertising. I was kind of in a account manager, account executive role, kind of like managing these projects, and then also like trying to upsell clients was sort of the position. And while I was there, I was working with some rather obstinate developers. And then, but when you're working with developers, but you don't have a technical background, it's incredibly difficult to like keep tabs on things. And so that's kind of what started me into tech, I guess, as I started trying to teach myself like HTML and CSS, and I got into JavaScript, and then I was doing the JavaScript for about like 3 to 4 months or so. And then I was really kind of felt like I was chasing my own tail for a while. And like I wasn't getting it. So that's why I ended up opting to go into a coding boot camp, which was 4Geeks, obviously. And then, and 4Geeks really kind of connected the dots for me in terms of like how JavaScript actually fits into like HTML and CSS, right? And like how, you know, there's like conditional rendering and FX, and I'm going to display this and that sort of thing. And that's all the stuff I wasn't getting because I was in like tutorial hell or whatever you want to call it prior to that. And so I kind of learned there. And then I got the email developer job, and that was only HTML and CSS for about like 7 months or so. And I built like an application to make my job easier there, kind of using the React stuff. And then from there, I pivoted into another small software company in Hallandale, which is the SmileFi. And then with them, I really just started building like a lot of internal tools, but it was really cool because it was all React CMS stuff. So I really got a lot of exposure to kind of like how headless CMSs work and how you can, like, we had an iOS app there that was their big product. And just kind of like seeing how these different data affects each other, right? I mean, prior to being exposed to it, I had a difficult time like understanding quite how things connect with each other, right? But like with the headless CMS stuff, it really kind of brought to light that like all this stuff, right? It's just like you're just passing data around and then you're doing something with the data, really, right? So it's like we're entering the data into the CMS, and then that's going to this API, which is updating the database, which also this iOS app uses, right? So that's how like we were able to manipulate information like that. And so it really kind of opened the door, and then they started like not doing quite as well, I guess. So I started looking for work again, which is how I ended up at my current position with Med Plans is the company. So that was kind of like my little journey with tech, I guess, and where I started.
That's a great story.
Yeah, so I, early in my career, I was really wanted to jump into entrepreneurship. I started a company mainly it was kind of like a mini Best Buy, if you think about it. It was a lot of installations and home automation related stuff, and that was my first kind of view of tech and apps and things like that, like being able to turn lights on and off from an iPhone or an iPad. That started to get me kind of really excited, and I did that for about 10 years. Sold that company, started another company that was doing smart home tech, and I was actually in Miami. I was in Miami Beach, our corporate office in Miami Beach. And I did that for about 2 years. I was basically flying back and forth to China, sourcing a bunch of hardware, and then product managing 5 different iOS apps at the time for like shade controllers, thermostat controllers, lights, things like that. But at the time, I really didn't have much of a background in any of that. So it was very difficult to communicate with engineers. And so that company failed miserably. And, one of the reasons why it failed was just, it was a lot of timing related things, market, timing, team. You can't pinpoint one thing really why something fails, but it just didn't work out. That's, I lost it all. And when I thought about reinventing myself, I said, okay, I'm going to try and get into coding so I can kind of understand databases and apps and how some of these things work, not because I wanted to be an engineer. And I think maybe I come at this from a little bit different perspective. I just wanted to get the understanding of the pain that engineers go through so that I could learn how to communicate with engineers when it comes to applications, more on the product management side of things. So the coding bootcamp, gave me a leg up for Amex, and then, cascaded from there into Amazon and SoFi.
Thank you very much. That's a great story, John. Thank you. So going into question number 2, what are some tips that you can placed for their first time as a software developer?
Don, go for it, man.
Yeah, of course. So looking to get placed. I mean, for me, I got rejected a ton of times coming out of the coding bootcamp. I'm sure I applied to over 100 positions, or I got the email developer job, and I actually got the email developer job through a recruiter, and it wasn't really. So I mean, I guess for me, like the biggest thing with that was really adopting a long-term perspective with it, kind of understanding that you're going to get rejected constantly and you only need to find one job, right? So, I mean, really a numbers game in terms of the applications, or at least that was my perspective of it. And also just to really keep an open mind. I mean, you know, again, like I'm sure you guys have read it 1,000 times, but the first job is so hard to get relative to the next positions. And like, of course, like it's good to have an idea of what you want to specialize in and capitalize off of that. But you should also fully understand that you can always get that job after the first job. Like once you get a first job on your resume, you can always start to pivot from there. And I think actually John mentioned that as well, right? Kind of pivoting. So I know for me, like when I was coming out of the coding bootcamp, I was initially thinking like front end developer role, you know, working with React and this sort of thing. And at first, you know, that kind of confined my job search, which I would say was probably a mistake. I should have just been blasting it out. And then, but then, you know, whatever. So I finally got that HTML, CSS job, and then I was able to pivot into a React job from there. And now my job is actually full stack, kind of dealing with React and Express and you know, MySQL database. So really keep an open mind and adopt a long-term perspective, I guess would be my two key pieces of advice for the arduous journey of getting your first job.
Yeah, well said, man. I think you know, to your point on rejection, it's a funny thing. Don't think that being rejected is something you should take personally. It has nothing to do with you, actually. It has nothing to do with your skills or the quality of your work. You just have to realize that there's just layers of bureaucracy involved in the hiring process. You're dealing with a couple recruiters. You're dealing with baseless phone calls when it comes to these things. You're dealing with job descriptions that are largely not even written by the hires in 90% of these situations, which is mind-blowing, but it's true. And I had a buddy recently who is probably the most skilled, empathetic, awesome product managers that I've ever met. Very well known in the tech scene, works at Google. He got rejected from a number of different companies recently. And it's like, how does a guy like that get rejected from a number of companies? Like, he is the most skilled person I know when it comes to this stuff. So you just can't take it personally, but when it comes to it, it is a numbers game. And I like to think about all of this from a not applying and praying perspective. Like you need to do it, but then that becomes a numbers game. Like that's the front door, right? You think about a club, right? There's a VIP entrance and then there's the front door. Everybody's trying to go through the front door. And what is the front door? The front door is bureaucracy. It is recruiter. It is a recruiter who does not know the actual scope of the role. It is a recruiter who has never been a developer. Think about that for a second. How on earth is that person able to assess your skills? They can't, right? They have a script. They look at you and go, yeah, okay, meets the JD. Who wrote the JD? Who the hell knows, right? So that's the front door mentality, and you have to do it. It's worth it from a strategy perspective. But it's also very important for you to work on your portfolio like Marcelo was talking about. Make that unbelievable and get that all over your LinkedIn profile, right? It's not necessarily a website. It's get it all over your LinkedIn profile. It's as you're learning, and some of you are graduating right now, but some of you are not. As you're learning, those of you who are not graduating yet, sharing your learning journey on LinkedIn as content. Sharing that you're learning React, right? Sharing that you attended a talk from somebody at, for example, Amazon or Google or whatever, and you're tagging them in the post. And you know what? That tag goes right to their cell phone, right? That is right to their phone. That is a person who can hire you, who is not a recruiter. They're a direct line of communication to a referral. And that is the name of the game when it comes to a lot of this stuff. If you can get a referral, it's gold.
That is 100% right. Couldn't have said it any better myself, John. Thank you.
I talk about it a lot.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Going on to my third question for both you gentlemen. How do you think the tech industry is going to evolve post-pandemic? And then the second part of that, is how do you think the new normal of working from home will last? And then Sean, if you want to go first on that one.
Yeah, sure. Right. How is the tech industry going to evolve post-pandemic? That's an interesting question. I mean, I wouldn't say I have any like authoritative answer for how the tech industry is going to evolve post-pandemic. I mean, right, it's kind of a natural lead-in, right? How do you think the new normal working from home? Like, I honestly, I mean, I do think like working from home will obviously continue to be relatively prevalent after the pandemic, which is largely coming to a close now. I hope so anyway, with fingers crossed with the vaccines. But I think at best case scenario is like companies just to start being much more flexible with their options and stuff. I mean, just like a quick aside, I guess, but with this most recent job I got, it was actually, I was hired on as full remote, and then kind of the vaccine started to gather more steam. And then in the time that I accepted the job offer and then started in my actual start date, the job became like coming into the office all the time. So like, I feel like it's got to change in a lot. I mean, I prefer going to the office anyway, but that's kind of what I mean. I do think offices will obviously return. And to more of the first part of your question, I mean, how is the tech industry going to evolve? I would think it's just only going to become even more prevalent in our everyday lives. I mean, obviously a bunch of technologies like Zoom and all this video conferencing and stuff like that, but just like kind of improving these technologies that already connect us, right? Yeah, so it would be my thoughts.
Yeah, it's a great point, man. So I mean, to the first question, the tech evolution post-pandemic, I think I tend to look at job security in two buckets, right? One bucket is declining industry, one bucket is accelerating industry. So where are the accelerating industries? That's what you want to go. You know, like if you see these companies like Coinbase, anything related to cryptocurrency, rocket ship growth, healthcare, rocket ship growth, right? That's where you want to be. And not every tech company is going to be rocket ship. So just keep that in mind as you're looking, right? And you know, your first job coming out of school, can you be choosy? No, right? But like Sean's talking about, there's a pivot. Keep that pivot mentality, right? You always have to have the hat on of where's my leverage? Where's my leverage in the industry? I keep getting better. What do I really want? If I ultimately want to work at Amazon or Google or Facebook or some other emerging company like Coinbase, great. What skills do I need on my resume? Do that. How do I work backwards from the people who are already in those positions today, right? How do I reach out to those people and understand what journeys they took? And actually those journeys are pretty easily exposed on LinkedIn, right? You're like, oh, well, they went to this school, they did this, they did these projects. You know, they have these people in their network. And that's what I did when I was working at Best Buy. The first thing I did was work backwards from where I wanted to be. I said, I want to be at a really large top tech company. I want to get paid really well. How the hell do I do that? And I started picking apart people's profiles on LinkedIn and working backwards from there, right? So think about super emerging, high growth. That's where you want to be. Ideally, you want to be in a company that's providing you with stock options, restricted stock units. Those things are going to make you rich if you get into the right company. And we could talk all about that, you know, offline if you want to too. But as far as the perspective of full remote or not, right? Like the pandemic opened up a door to the corporate world that has never been opened up in our lifetime, right? Over in our family's lifetime, our parents' lifetime, our grandparents' lifetime. The idea of you having to be at the office was the thing. Now, a lot of companies are embracing that. And even though they're starting to think about the come back to the office culture, it's still made a shift. The door is already open, right? A lot of people don't want to go back to the damn office anymore. My life is 1,000 times better now that I don't have to go to an office. I have way more time freedom. I work even more. I get bothered less, right? My efficiency is higher and I have more free time. So why would 90% of the working world want to go back to an office 5 days a week? So I think there's some model that's going to be in the middle where maybe, you know, you go to work two days a week or what have you, but the nomadic lifestyle concept of being like, you know, I do a good job here. I'm going to work from Mexico, you know, and nobody's going to have a problem with it. in a lot of cases, if you negotiate that up front with an organization, you do a really good job. So I love it. I think it opened up a great opportunity for us to live wherever we want. And ideally, you work for a high growth company, get paid really well, move to a low cost market. And that's a strategy that will really accelerate your financial position.
I agree 100%. Definitely. I know I love working from home. The whole 9 to 5 standard of being at the office from 9 to 5, I think that is definitely going to be a thing of the past. And
oh yeah, man.
it's definitely going to be something that's going to be more negotiable when you actually do get a job offer, or when you're doing an interview. It's probably going to be a lot different now.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. Last question, and then we get to get into the pitch day. Last question. What could a student or candidate do or should do to make their resume or portfolio stand out in a technical industry or a technical field?
Sure. So I'll go first, I guess. So right, a lot of people touched on just like trying to have like a baller portfolio for, of course, like up front. In terms of the actual projects on the portfolio, I do think it's like much more impressive to have like some, I think you guys are still doing React, right? And have like some sort of like single page application that has a lot of functionality on it versus like a bunch of little projects with limited functionality, right? I think like one more comprehensive project with a lot of functionality, especially if you're dealing with like some sort of like asynchronous requests and you're having to deal with like how the data comes in at like different times and that sort of thing. I mean, I know I would be very impressed with that, right? If I was talking to a junior developer, especially. Right. And then I kind of touched on earlier, right? Just kind of like blasting out these applications to get your foot in the door. In terms of the actual interview itself, I really think it pays dividends to be very well prepared for the in-person interview or call interview. That was a mistake I certainly made a couple of times early on in my applications. Is because like, right, I kind of have this like spray and pray method when I'm blasting out the application. And then I would get like a call back from an employer and it would catch me off guard. And then it would become clear like I didn't have this fundamental understanding of their company and what they do. And I was not so well prepared. And I definitely think I lost out on a couple of opportunities due to that. So then I learned to really put in like I know I have like a phone call coming up or an in-person interview coming up. I really would do my research and try to understand to the best of my ability what the company does up front. And then also how I can contribute to the company while I'm there. And just being very well prepared, of course, with like the general interview, like what stands out about our company to you, why are you interested in our company? And then how you can like specifically contribute to them, right? So, for example, with like, if you're going into like more so like web development, right, which I would imagine a lot of you are, looking at jobs with that, just like looking at a company's website and then like figuring out like good ways to improve it. And then especially if you could show up with like this like tangible material to show how you could improve the website. I mean, that would be phenomenal in an interview. Yeah. So, I mean, I guess that's really my main thoughts. Like, it's kind of like, like John was saying before, like you have to get your foot in the door, right? And then kind of once you have your foot in the door, once they are calling you for an in-person interview, it's like they've already said yes to the resume, right? They've already looked at your resume and said like, yes, this is a person I can hire. So from there, it's only trying to continue to impress them further, right? And you can continue to impress them further by being incredibly well prepared for the interview, having tangible options to improve their current assets, and then just being as personable as possible, like just trying to like get along with the interviewer, trying to establish some sort of relationship with them. And then in follow-ups, right? Following up like a week later, whatever it is, you don't have to hound them, but just like showing the interviewer you're very invested in this job, right? In this application, it matters to you. And any way you can really express that thing truly goes a long.
You want to try to position your resume and yourself and your talking points in a way that paints you more as a specialist than a generalist. And if you can create depth in a particular project, I totally agree with Sean. When you get to a Google interview or a Facebook interview or something like that, right? They're going to want to see depth in your thinking. That's what gets people hired at these companies, depth in your thinking, right? I wrestled with a problem. Right? These companies are very structured around the mental model of there was a problem, I figured out the problem, I created a solution, I dealt with these issues while creating the solution. They were really fascinating challenges, what have you. The result was X, right? I have this asynchronous thing on this page that does something really cool. Ideally, you should be thinking down the vein of like one company that you're, and maybe this isn't like stage one. Like stage one might be the spray and pray, but like as you're getting into it a little bit more and you're pivoting and going to really where you want to go, trying to target one company, trying to target people in the network for that one company, trying to show yourself as like, okay, if you want to get into Amazon, what AWS certification can you do? Like what AWS elements can you tie into an application, right? Did you use a vision, optical character recognition or something tool from Google, right? And then you're like trying to get into Google. Well, that's a great talking point for you. Like, hey, I integrated this and this and this from Google, created this really cool application. I think it can help you guys too. And that's something you don't even have to hit up recruiters with. You could just like ping a few senior engineers and be like at Google and be like, hey, I know you're working in these projects. I think I can contribute a lot of value. Like, look what I just created. And that's a way into the back door.
That is 100% right. So I know I said that was the last question. I just want to kind of branch off of this, thinking about this now, because you guys both kind of talked about it, the project piece of it. So a lot of these students are brand new developers, junior developers. They have zero work experience majority of the time going into the industry. So projects mean a lot in this industry, because I think I think both of you guys hit on it, showing your knowledge of how to do something is going to go a lot farther in this industry, especially the tech industry. Like they can see that you work a lot, but if they want to know, do you understand what we're doing? So I guess my question is, with these guys and projects, do you think a lot more projects on their resume and a lot less work experience that doesn't pertain to technical industry is more beneficial or
not? Just to make sure I understand your question, I like what you're saying, like you can supplement a lack of technical experience with projects.
Yeah, so like let's say for most resumes, are tailored towards, what are your qualifications, your skills that you have a projects page, and then you have work experience and then education. So like what would be your, I guess, is it better to have more projects on there coming out of having no experience and coming out of the coding boot camp, or having work experience regardless of what it is, still having it on there? Do you think that would matter?
Okay. Well, one, I mean, I think of course there should be some work experience just to show like if you have some sort of professional experience and can fulfill the duties of a professional role, I suppose. But I mean, like for me, if I was looking at a resume right now and the person only had say one or two jobs on there that were not pertaining to technical, then of course, I mean, absolutely supplement it with technical projects. And like I was saying too, I mean, you don't want to, one or two applications with a lot more functionality, in my eyes, is infinitely better than say 10 different to-do lists or something similar. You know what I mean? So that's kind of what would make the biggest difference for me, especially if it's if it's a legitimately cool project that I'm interested in. And usually I would say that would happen if you were legitimately interested in a project you're creating, right? So I mean, most people aren't so passionate about to-do lists, I would imagine, but maybe you're super passionate about basketball or football or something, and you build out some dope stat tracker to like track your favorite team at any time, and like changes colors like with the team. You know what I mean? There's like a bunch of stuff you can do with that. So I guess I would say, like, for your projects, if you could find something you're truly passionate about or like enjoy, or something that would legitimately benefit you, I mean, it's very likely that same passion would, naturally exude when you're showing it off to an interviewer, or just, pop off your resume that way. Like, just, if you're truly passionate about something, you're able to build it out, give it a lot of functionality. That's really it's gonna come across both on paper and certainly in person when you start talking about it.
Yeah.
Anything else that you want to add to that, John?
Yeah, man. So what I notice with a lot of students, not necessarily like in coding boot camps, just students in general that I speak to, they tend to want to throw away their background, right? They're like, okay, I'm jumping into coding and my past like doesn't matter. Like, I want to be an engineer, right? But there's a lot of golden bits in somebody's background that can lead to way more pay, way more leverage. And those are important things to look at, right? Like, if you were in the sciences or something and you're like, oh God, I hated that friggin' industry or whatever, trying to connect the dots between the fact that you want to do coding, right? So what do you want to do? You want to work on some cool projects in a slightly different arena. If you connect it to the dots of your old background, you're going to get paid more, right? If you were in real estate or like working as a real estate agent, you're like, I want nothing to do with that. Well, keep in mind that if you did that for a handful of years, knowing it from the ground level, but then having a job at Redfin or Zillow or one of these other companies as a junior engineer, the propensity for them to hire you is going to be a lot higher, because you're trying to connect dots from your background, right? So do what you can to not throw away pieces of your background. If you can craft a cohesive narrative, if you can target companies that are in the tech industry, that are doing really cool things, that fulfill your need to want to kind of make a pivot, but you can kind of stay within the same industry, but just be in the tech world or tech part of that industry, you're going to find yourself getting paid more initially.
I would also just like to piggyback off something John just mentioned, which I think is very important. Like, of course, keep the work experience on there. But when you're in these interviews as well, like, people love to hear you tell a story, right?
Yeah.
So if you can keep your background, right, certainly relevant to the position at hand and like how that relates to the projects you do have on your resume, and then kind of give them the whole journey of like how you ended up here, in like a succinct way, it really, and it's kind of establishes you as a person in the interview. And I think it can really like distinguish you from others as well, and that you are willing to make this shift. You know what I mean? Like, you're already here, you already learned these skills, and now you only want to improve further. And I think like an interviewer certainly would see that as well, right? Like, that you would continue to want to grow within their role too. And that all plays into the work experience as well, right? Just kind of like giving them a history and telling your story and how they can be like the next part of your story.
Yeah, I agree.
Exactly. Well, I think the students are biting at the bit right now. They want to get their projects ready to go and start showing them off. But
Nice.
Again, John, Sean, hey, I appreciate your guys' time, like taking time out of your day to come out and just give some advice to future tech web developers out there. Your guys' insight and everything is definitely unbelievable, and I just want to thank you guys both again for agreeing to come do this and kind of just imparting your wisdom on the future of the tech industry out there.
Thanks, Stephen.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. My pleasure.
With that being said, you guys are more than free to stick around. You guys can watch and see kind of what these guys have done. But with that being said, the first group that is up is Law Firm. You guys take it away. Okay, there we go. Sorry. Go ahead, guys.
Well, thank you, Stephen. Hi, everyone. My name is Aura, and we're very excited to present our project, Law Firm Client Database, a simplified, accessible, and all-in-one database. Here you can see a list of what we'll go over during our presentation. First, we'd like to introduce our team. My name is Aura Arana, and I hold a bachelor's in communication and a bachelor's in studio art, where I focus in graphic design and motion pictures. I have been working in the digital marketing industry for over 8 years. I've worked on projects doing web design, but took this course to learn front-end development and understand how the design is turned into code. Now I'll let my project partner, Jose, introduce himself. Not
You
sure
want to
who's
mute?
here.
Jose, are you on mute?
I'm so sorry. Hello, my name is Jose Pinol. I have a degree in computer science with 15 years of experience in IT support and data center. And my goal with this course are improve my programming skill. Now my partner, Haley, continue.
Good afternoon. My name is Heidi Núñez. I have a bachelor degree in computer science with 5 years of experience. And my goal with this course has been to obtain new knowledge that allow me to find work as a programmer.
Just to let you know a little bit of how we came up with this idea, the three of us have worked with small businesses and noticed they still rely heavily on using spreadsheets to store client information. They do so to save money over paying programs that can cost over $20,000 a year. We went with the idea of law firm since Jose from our group works at a law firm and is familiar with their needs. They usually store confidential information that has to be kept very secure. We wanted to build a platform that could help businesses store information in one place and give limited access to client numbers. Also, with the pandemic, companies have been working from home, and having access to client information is very crucial. Law Firm Client Database is easy to use from anywhere in the world. We wanted to show you a few facts that prove our app could help out many businesses that are making the transition to store their information online. So for example, 84% of small businesses rely on a manual process, 69% of small businesses use spreadsheets, and 25 to 35% of the workforce is estimated to be working from home multiple days a week by the end of 2021. And our app features 3 different types of users. The first one is the client, which has access to their personal information and be able to request an appointment. Then we have the staff user that has access to the client database. They can edit files, confirm appointments, and add payments from the clients. The third user is admin. The admin has access to everything the client and staff has access to, plus they can create accounts for users and delete information. Here you can see what we use to build our app. We use Gitpod and Firebase to store our client information, login information, and upload photos. Doing research in Google and Stack Overflow was a big help. Material UI and Bootstrap was used to build a responsive app. And we use Amazon Web Services to deploy our app. So now with our demonstration, we deployed our project and wanted to see, I know I asked via message, but I didn't get a response. So I wanted to see if Sean or John wanted to volunteer to test a part of our demonstration.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay.
John's got it.
Whatever. Either one of us. My camera keeps
Okay.
dying, so.
Oh, no.
But I think it's good. I think it's good now.
Okay, since I see John, for some reason you're the one that popped up in my screen right now. John, would you be okay with sharing your screen?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so
Let's
you
see.
can actually take it away from, take my screen and I will guide you through everything.
Okay, I'm gonna share.
That would be-
Let's see.
So if you have Chrome,
Yeah, I'm on Chrome right now.
okay, perfect. Not sure.
Let's see. Okay.
Yes, I see your screen. Okay, so if you
Okay.
can go to Google.
All right, cool. I'm going to go to a new browser. Yep.
Okay, perfect. And if you can go to law firm, type in law firm, clients DB, clientsdb.com.
Law firm client DB.
DB, yes, correct.
Yeah. Okay. It's going. Yep. Cool.
So just to let you know, this is our project, and just so we wanted you to sort of interact with our project, and we'll show you why. So here, you will request an appointment.
Mm-hmm. So you want me to?
And
oh yeah,
just
you request an appointment. Got it. Okay.
Yeah. So here you can just fill it out with information that is not yours. So we
Yeah.
don't have
Okay.
your
Okay.
information.
All right.
This is just an example of someone that doesn't have an account. You know, any client can request an appointment.
All right. Cool.
And we'll show you why this information, how it goes through after.
Okay. All right. What's the best contact? Cell phone. Okay.
You can select the first one there. There's many options.
Oh yeah, for sure. Okay. Please provide additional. Okay.
And that way you can just push down.
I need your help. Yes. Yes, I do. Help me. All right.
Okay. And then submit request.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
And now, so we'll show you how in the staff version, we will use your information and how it's added onto our system. So this is just, we wanted you to be able to interact, but right now we're going to go with the client user, which Katie's from our group will show you how it works.
Cool.
Thank you, John.
Yeah. Should I stop sharing?
Yeah, she'll take over.
Oh, okay. She'll take it. Yeah. Cool.
Thank you.
Yes. When when using the system, the first thing we can do without going to create an account is to request an appointment, like John, specifying personal data, contact, and the service to request. This role can create an account with access only to the information and tools allowed. Once logging, in the dashboard, you can see the total cases, earning in service, earning in payments, pending service. You can or edit our biographical information. You can upload documents like
to the case. Finally, you can add service. This service generated for the client. The staff user can search any client navbar. Select any case. I will select, for example, Miguel, and edit any type information. I edit a layer, right? I can edit a payment. And the value is changed. In this case, is low, right? The staff use in the payment form, the lower is the client balance. The balance of client lower. When the for example, they can see the report of client and observe to the date today. Another example, we have the appointment list. Staff user can the list of all the appointments that the client was requested. The John in 25.
We added to our calendar. Report if they need to. They have access to everything here as well. The few things that are different is that the admin has access to delete items. So for example, let's see, this ledger right here, let's say we want to delete this service, the service fee that is $400. So the admin is the only one that can delete this information just to avoid any issues. And we'll delete it here. And as you can see, it was reflect the balance. And then another add-on that they have access to is that they can delete services. Let me go to it right here. So right here, for example, the staff has access to edit, but the admin will have access to delete. And I'll show you right here. There you go, it was deleted. And another add-on that they have that no one else has access to is that they can create a new user. So for example, if a new staff is added on, I can create the new user here, and here I can select the type of user. So that resumes our demonstration. We'll continue with everything else. A few challenges throughout our project. So for example, the interface was a little complicated at first when we were adding the sidebar and making sure it was there for every page once you log in. Also, the restricted access was a challenge when we had to make sure that each user has certain access to the app. Confirming that the Firebase was receiving the information was a bit of a challenge, but we were able to connect it properly. buyer base now receives all the information that is input into the app. And last, another challenge that I'm sure everyone has is syntax errors. It's a common mistake, but sometimes one word or even one letter will not let your app work. We're very careful in making sure everything is correct so the connection is perfect. And what's next for our project? We'd like to connect client emails so they receive notifications when an appointment is coming up or there's an update in their case. So for example, when John filled out that information, when it was added to their calendar, we want there to be a way for him to see, okay, my appointment is confirmed for this time. We'd also like to create appointments directly from the calendar. Also, we want to be able to see the uploaded images within the app. Right now, if you upload an image, it takes you the rest of the academy that helped us through.
And especially to Joao and Chris, thank you for all.
Firm he's getting clients right now. There's a lot of meat in there.
Guys did great with project, and I'm impressed how you learn from the beginning to the end of the course. And because of our syllabus, I didn't have much time to teach much complex usage of React, but the small opportunities we had, you learned at first, and that was really awesome. And you're gonna get a job in no time.
Thank you, Joao.
It's your turn, buddy.
All right. So what's going on, guys? My name is Brett. Today I'm going to be presenting my project, the Mailing Encyclopedia. Yeah, let's jump right into it. My work. So as you guys just saw, that is Melee at a high level. And basically the slow motion, you saw every one of those button pushes is a different, every one of those little icons that pops up is a different button you got to push. And in slow motion, it's like, okay, yeah, it makes sense. But in real time, you're smacking that controller around. So it's definitely a lot. There's a lot of different techniques you can learn. Like I have here on this bullet point, it's a huge mountain to climb. It's very daunting. And the idea of this website is to be an encyclopedia, of course, and something where you can track your progress at the beginning. Personally, when I was learning some of these techniques in this game, it was like, man, how am I ever going to be able to do that crazy combo I just saw when I can barely, move around or do anything. So that's kind of the idea behind the site here, and some facts I have, basically the reasoning behind it. I have a lot of friends who've tried to get into the game, and it's too complicated. They don't feel any, they're making any progress. It's very tough. And you give up in favor of other games, other Smash games especially. Also, Melee is a game that has a grassroots competitive community for over 20 years. There's been very little in the way of support from Nintendo, the company that created the game, and I think it's a growing game. It's a game that still brings in a lot of money, still brings a lot of Twitch stream viewers. New players are always joining, and I think a resource like this would make that initial dive into the game a lot more bearable, a lot more tolerable, if you will. So here's some of the languages and technologies I use. The back end was primarily with Python, using Flask to develop my own API. The front end was using Bootstrap for the styling, that kind of thing, Material UI for a few components, and then to implement an external API, I had to learn a whole new QL language called GraphQL, which is something we didn't cover in the boot camp, and I used a client, whatever you want to call it, called Apollo, that made GraphQL a little bit easier to work with React. And yeah, let's jump into the demo here. All right, so here we are, Melee Encyclopedia. When you first load up, you'll see we have a couple techniques here on the side, upcoming tournaments, and the about/fact section. There's a sign up function. I have a dummy account that we're going to use here just to make things a little easier. And once you're logged in, you see this side changes a little bit. You can check out your profile, which has the progress of each of those 6 techniques. And these sliders here allow you to set your progress. Things react in real time. So you see I just slid it across. We went from 0 to 35%. We come in here to the short hop section. There's a small tutorial, a little video that'll show you what the technique is, and just, like I said, make it nice and easy to learn and track your progress and that kind of thing. So again, set your progress here. And yeah, we have these tutorials for each of the techniques. Same deal for everything. And then unfortunately, the upcoming tournaments is the use of the external API. Basically what it's supposed to do is show you just like a table of tournaments that are coming up, being hosted for Melee. And I did a quick little dry run during the last presentation, and now it doesn't want to work. So I don't know. I was going to take a screenshot just in case this happened because it's been finicky, and I said, no, it'll be fine. It's working right now. But yeah, so that's a little embarrassing, but whatever. It's nothing crazy. It's just shows you some tournaments that are upcoming. So yeah, so that's the website. Like I said, it's all about tracking your progress. You can see as you're learning, this goes up, and it'll be cool to see it finally be at 100. Definitely a good feeling. Something that you wouldn't have if you were just playing the game and just trying to learn yourself. Let's hop back into the presentation here. All right, so challenges and potential features. Some of the challenges I faced, learning GraphQL, as you can see, it's very finicky. It just decided today it didn't want to work. But yeah, like I said, it was a whole new language to learn. I had to use Apollo client to really get it working within React. So that was definitely a challenge. Constructing my API to work the way I wanted, there was definitely specific things I had in mind that I wanted it to do. And I think that that was definitely something that a hurdle I had to pass for sure. And another big challenge for me was styling. It's definitely not my strong suit. I don't know what you guys think, but it's not the prettiest website in the world, but it gets the job done. So what are you going to do? And then potential features for the future. I do want to add more techniques. These 6 that I have on there are like the very, very basic to get started. But I mean, me personally, I've played this game for years. I could rattle off like 100 techniques that I can do like that. And there's probably thousands in the game that I can't even do. So it'd definitely be cool to fill that out a little bit more. And there's stuff for character specific. Everything there is general, but there's stuff that is specific to certain characters, that kind of thing. And then I think it would be cool to have a bit more of a more robust profile with things like profile pictures and statuses, and being able to add your friends, like a social kind of feature to track your friends' progress and see, oh man, look, he just learned how to wave dash. He's at 100%. That's cool. That's so awesome. Message him, whatever. But yeah, I did have to rein the scope in a little bit, working on my own. And yeah, that concludes my presentation. I want to give a big thanks to everybody in the Academy, especially JD, Alexon, taught me everything I know. The mentors, Paolo, shout out to Steven, Marcelo, everybody here. John and Sean, thank you guys for giving us a little taste of the industry, that kind of thing. And the rest of my cohort, shout out to you guys. And yeah, that concludes my presentation.
That's really cool, Brett. Thanks for sharing, man. Cool that you tried a new language, and even very seasoned engineers, when they're doing product demos at companies, they will record their product demos to ensure nothing fails.
I swear it was working like 2
I
hours.
get it. I get it.
I
believe you. I believe you.
APIs will get you every time.
Yeah, man.
Hey, great job, Brett. Appreciate it. That was awesome. Definitely brought a lot of us old people back in time there.
100%.
So with that being said, though, it is time to move on to the next group, which is Market Pulse. Diego and Chris, you guys are up. Diego, Chris, I know I saw you guys on here.
Yeah, you got it pulled up, Diego?
Can you see my screen?
There we go.
Okay. So this is our project. My name is Diego Rodriguez with my partner, Chris. You can introduce yourself, Chris.
Hi, my name's Chris Herman. Actually, to put on what Brett said, we kind of have issues with Gitpod too, and you have to keep starting it and stopping it because sometimes it gives you issues. So we actually recorded the demo. So just throw that in there. And then join this. It's been pretty fun. Had some good. Wishing there was a little bit more back end exercises, but overall it was a pretty good time.
Yeah. Well, Market Pulse is a B2B marketplace that connects suppliers, wholesalers, and manufacturers with Amazon resellers. Basically, this was the harder part of our project. So Chris can explain us?
Yeah, so for whatever reason, this thing, it was just a pain in the butt. You had styling and all that stuff. You had to grab the averages from the API, and like Brett said. And if for whatever reason Amazon doesn't have that product, they like to tell you that it's worth nothing or -1. So then your profit is actually like -$500. So it was just a pain. But yeah, the daily stuff of workarounds and stuff like that.
I'm going to show you guys the demo for the application. We will record. Okay. This is the login and sign up page. We are going to create a new user. Okay, account creating. You can now log in. Refresh the page. Okay. Okay, now this is our profile. Welcome to your profile. You can add products and view a list of all products on the nav bar. Okay, we can add a new product. This is a laptop back from Walmart. You can submit. And right here is the product you already add. You can click on the all product and you can see your product right here. And then you can see the price on Amazon, the title, the photos. You can see the sell price, the FBA fee, the storage fee, referral fee, and the description and details. If you found this product more cheaper than $22.99, for example, if you grab this item from $49.99, this is your net profit, margins, and ROIs. So in case you find another cost different, for example, you can do the same thing right here on the profile page. And also you can see the product from other people. For example, this gaming monitor. If you grab this and more cheaper, $59, this is your net profit, your margin, and your ROI. Yeah, but basically this is our application. And thank you so much.
Yeah, so as you can see, the general idea is you make a product, it gets a UPC, and then it gets the UPC from the API and Amazon, and then it'll grab the information, tell you roughly what the average is. and then say you found that UPC from Walmart and it's on sale for $100, but Amazon sells it for $400, then you'll know this is a really good, product you could buy and sell on Amazon, and roughly what product or profit you would make. And then if you also go through, the view all products as you saw, you can see other products that are made by other people, and you can also just test different prices to see like if you would make profit selling the same thing as them if you could find it cheaper. That's pretty much the whole idea, is basically if you can find a product cheap, what's your profit going to be if you sell it on Amazon?
Yeah, this is application resellers in Amazon. Amazon is the largest online retailer, and 2020 was at 38.6 billion dollars on revenue, and I think it's a good business for resellers online. Now, as it built our stack of technology and architecture, I did the front end part mostly, HTML, React, and Flux, and Chris he built the backend part. Chris.
I did build the backend. That is correct.
Yeah. So yeah,
I also did the add a product, the products page, the profile, the log out. Yes, that is correct. But yeah, it was interesting. There was some, like I said, Git pod's kind of weird sometimes, and you'll be in the middle of doing it, and then it'll give you an error. But as soon as you stop it and restart it, it'll work. It was just a pain. Yeah. But other than that, I think it worked out pretty good for the whole general concept of what it does.
That's cool, guys. I know a lot about that world.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you mentioned Amazon earlier, so it worked out perfect.
Yeah. All about that. They call that retail arbitrage. That's a very common internal name for that process. A lot of people go to Target and they load up shopping cart after shopping cart, put it back on Amazon for the lowest price.
Yeah, we were actually looking at Best Buy, and we were seeing what was on sale, and then seeing if Amazon was selling them, so we could actually show a good representation.
And Amazon's got all kinds of crazy algorithms to detect like high-low prices across the entire internet.
Yeah, everything we were trying to use, if it was on sale at Best Buy, they were like $1 less, and I was like, "Why are you doing this?"
Yeah, of course they know, dude. They got their pulse on
my screen.
Yeah, they were
right,
beating everybody.
right, Amazon's the greatest.
Yeah.
well, thank you,
hey,
guys.
great job, guys. I appreciate it, Diego, Chris. Good app, nice functionality. It would definitely be something that would be cool to see. Like, hey, if I was to buy this and try to resell it, like that used to be the whole eBay thing back in the day before Amazon blew up. It was you bought something and sold it on eBay. So it's great that you kind of adapted to the news on now. So with that being said, we have one more group left, and that is co-op work. Pamela and Israel, you guys are up.
Okay, so co-op work. This is a voting app. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, you're good. We can hear you.
So it's the tool to boost effective decision making in record time. Now Pamela is gonna speak a little bit about herself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Pamela Rosario. I was born in Bronx, New York. I've been living in South Florida since I was 9 years old, building websites since middle school. I was interested in 4Geeks Academy because it offers lifetime support, and I'm very proud to have finished and be here today.
And my name is Israel. Last name Vasquez. I'm from a tiny island in the Caribbean Sea called Margarita. I've been here in Miami since 2018, and I'm actually an industrial engineer. I work in large construction sites, but I'm shifting my career. I love the mentoring sessions that 4Geeks do. I think they're the best. But we wanna talk about the working cups. What is a working cup? It's like a regular company, but instead of being owned by a person or a group of persons, is one vote, one share. So everybody has the same power and the same profit that is made. It's democratically um, shared. And why we wanna do this? We wanna talk about working cups. It's because in an economy with working co-ops, there's lower unemployment in traditional companies, there's less inequality, 5-1 instead of 600-1 in regular corporations, and nobody's gonna ship his job away to India or any other country. This is gonna boost any country in any economy. But there's a problem with working co-ops. They are boring. They can take a lot of time because we have to meet with these people to take decisions instead of being the owner and take the decision. Everybody has to live with it. So not everybody is a good speaker or listener, and reaching consensus or getting get an agreement, it's really hard sometimes. How the app is going to help with that? Well, the idea is to make the company fully transparent and fully democratic. People can debate, can vote, and can see the results about the debating and voting in real time. It's like a real democracy. So what technologies do we use? For the front end, JavaScript, the React.js, React Bootstrap, and for the backend, mainly Python, Flask, and Postgres, sorry. And now we're going to do a live demo. First, the login. Then we are going to create a user, an event. Then we're gonna set a debate, make a vote, check the interactive charts, and then join the debate. Pamela can now take it away.
So this is our app cup where in order to log in, you just input your email, password. After that, click submit information. Once you're in the app as an admin, you can edit users here. Put in the email, first name, last name, phone number, position, and create a password. You choose whether to give administrative powers or not here. After that, you click create user. It gives an alert saying a user has been created and asks, do you want to go back to home? Then in order to add a voting event, you click on edit events. We're going to vote on something, whether to open a new location or not. You set the date. And then name the choices. After that, you click create event. Another alert saying a voting event has been created, asking, do you want to go back to home? As the administrator, you can also set a debate, which is a chat where the users can go back and forth and comment about the voting event. You can vote now after setting the event. This comes up and you vote yes or no. Asks, are you sure you want to vote yes? You press OK. After voting, it shows the live results of the vote.
And you also can.
So it shows how many people voted yes or no if you hover over the chart. It also prevents the same user from voting twice. If I try to vote again, it gives me a warning and won't let me do it. On these tabs, we have the corporation's data, bills, expenses, and thousands of dollars. If you want to remove an expense, you click on the expense and see how it affects the rest of it, or put it back in. The monthly budget and thousands of dollars, if you want to be sure of the amount, you hover over. The accounts is revenue spent within 5 months. And then in order to join the comment section, you click on debate and hit join. There's also the log out button when you're done. Then you can log back in. That's it.
That was super cool. I really like the design.
Yeah, very cool, guys.
The idea it's so I think the idea of the working cup it's not like very well explained in 20 seconds, but I wanted to make it really quick. So basically, it's this kind of how do you call it? Just it's a regular company. It's a corporation. There's an example in Spain of a corporation, cooperative corporation of 18,000 people. They make more than 1.2 billion euros yearly on profits, and basically, the idea is to reduce inequality. Instead of getting all that profit into one bank account, into the bank account of 1,000 people, spread that into the actual workers, and that's been working very well for that company. And I believe this tool can help promote like the development of new co-op works and new companies of this type here in the United States. So finally, thank you to 4Geeks. Thank you to all our teachers, and thank you to well, thanks for this opportunity to be in here and answer anxious and nervous presenting this. So thank you guys.
I also forgot to say that I was at the end, there was also a send button that the app sends a text to all the users reminding them to vote.
Yeah, and I can go that on my phone. Stop sharing my screen. And can you guys see me? No, right?
No.
Okay,
Let's see you.
Let's do real quick echo.
Hey, great job to both you guys. That was an awesome product. Hey, I just want to again thank everybody for joining today. And kind of go back, conclude to our presentation. So that was all of our presenters for tonight. I want to give a special thanks to, you know, everybody, JWoww, JD, Alexon, Christopher, all you guys, you know, Apollo, all the mentors in 4Geeks. You know, these are, you know, these guys came up with these products and were able to make them function and, you know, show us all these great ideas. And it was all because of, you know, the hard work that you guys put in, and the late nights and all the, you know, sessions, mentorship sessions, and sitting down with these guys and making sure that they understood exactly what they were doing. So you guys did amazing. I want to thank you guys again, John and Sean. I saw you guys mostly stuck around. I think you guys are still here. Hopefully you got to see some cool stuff.
Oh yeah, still here, man.
So, but yeah, I just wanted to, you know, thank everybody. Thank you guys again. I know that was, you know, it's almost 2 hours. And I think, you know, hearing from you guys definitely helps them out a lot. And, you know, all the family and friends that, you know, are here tonight, fellow programmers, students that came from other cohorts that are supposed to be in class today, but, you know, decided to come here and kind of see what they're all working towards. So with that being said, time to celebrate. Everybody's graduated. You get your certificate soon. And want to thank everybody. And that concludes our Geek Talk for cohort 22 and Miami-Dade College. You guys have a great night and talk to you guys later.
Very cool. Take care, everyone. Good luck with everything.
Have a great night, everybody.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. Have a good night, everybody.